All right, it's 2 o'clock. My name is John Morin. I'm the Director of Operations with San Mateo County Harbor District. We've also got one of our IT administrators, Lizzie Zarowski, which is hosting this meeting for us on our behalf, and will assist or attempt to assist you with any kind of problems you may be having. So if you can't hear or see presentations, etc., feel free to raise your hand and ask Lizzie. Let's give just a few more minutes here for everybody to log on before we begin. Lizzie, it looks like we've got at least one person there, Emily Jensen, that's having trouble connecting to audio, maybe?
Oh, okay, let me. Emily, are you joining by phone as well? I think I may have solved the problem. If you could accept my request to unmute. Oh, perfect. Are you there? Looks like we're still having issues.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, yep.
Yeah, I can hear the audio.
Oh, perfect. Okay, we can hear you too.
Okay, it's 2:05. Let's go ahead and get started. Like I said earlier, my name is John Morin. I'm the Director of Operations with San Mateo County Harbor District. We've got Lizzie Zarowski, who's going to be assisting us with any IT type issues, any challenges that maybe you might have in hearing the presentation or seeing the presentation. So don't hesitate to chat with her. Raise your hand if you can, and she'll try to help you guys as much as possible. I want to thank everybody for your interest, your firm's interest in this RFP for the replacement of our east docks at Oyster Point Marina. I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. I ask you at this time to try to go ahead and in the chat function, put your firm's name, address, email address, and contact person information and phone. This is how we're going to be capturing those firms that are interested in bidding on this RFP. I'll ask that you hold off on any questions until I'm finished with my little presentation here. Then I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can at present. And then you do, of course, have until the 15th to formally request any modifications or questions and clarifications. I'll be responding to all those questions, clarifications, requests for modifications in addenda that will be going out to everyone.
John, I believe you've accidentally been muted. Let me unmute you here. I don't know what happened there. Are you there?
Yeah, I just said muted by host. But
Oh.
anyway, what we're going to be doing is, obviously until the 15th. I don't know how much of that I just said you guys heard, but until the 15th, the RFP dictates that be open for any questions, clarifications, requests for modifications. All answers to those questions, clarifications, or requests for modifications will be answered by me in an addenda by the following week. And that addendum will be, or multiple addendums will be put on our website and will also be sent to the email addresses that you guys are providing to us in the chat function now. So again, I ask that you hold off on any questions until the end of my presentation. I'm going to share my screen now. All right, Oyster Point Marina is approximately 408 slips located in South San Francisco. Oyster Point Marina, all the docks are over 20 years old and are in need of replacement. This project is focusing primarily on Dock 12, and another second option is replacement of docks 12, 13, and 14. You can see my cursor here.
Actually, John, I don't think the screen share worked.
Oh, it
And
didn't.
I'm not, no. You may want to try navigating to open the document and then retry to share the screen.
Okay, bear with us for a minute.
Zoom's been having some other issues in other meetings I've been on today, so it's not you.
Okay.
Good. I think we can see it now. Yeah, it looks like I'm getting participant feedback that it's seen. So.
Okay. Does it look like it's sharing now, Lizzie?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Here's a bird's eye view here of Oyster Point Marina, again located in South San Francisco. The San Mateo County Harbor District manages the Oyster Point Marina, again, 408 slips for the city of South San Francisco. We also have a responsibility to obviously maintain the docks and replace them when necessary. So docks 12, 13, and 14 are the ones that we are looking to get design, engineering, permitting, RFP proposals for at present. Here's a blow up of docks 12, 13, and 14. If you look at my cursor over here to the left side, which is the west side, you'll see our harbor office is located here on this spit. This is a newer guest dock, which is a concrete floating dock. Won't be part of this project. Then going further to the east is the Weta ferry terminal. Then this is dock 11 here. And dock 11 has already been replaced with brand new concrete floating docks. And no work will be done to it at all in this project. Going east further, this dock is dock 12. Dock 12, we're asking for one aspect of your proposal for the sole replacement of dock 12 alone. Then as we go further to the east are docks 13 and then 14 next to the breakwater. As you can kind of see in the picture here, the ends, and I'll show you some more pictures of it momentarily, but the terminus of docks 12, 13, and 14, at the same time, dock 11 was replaced with brand new concrete floating docks, and the guest dock was done back when the Weta terminal was installed. Each of these, each of the terminus of the docks 12, 13, and 14 have already gotten new concrete floating docks installed. So those will want to remain in place. They already got new substantial concrete pilings, and the floating docks are in excellent condition. Those concrete floating dock terminus portions are in excellent condition. So what we'll be building out will be obviously between those intact concrete floating docks all the way to shore, along with the gangways from shore to the new concrete floating docks. The very end T heads of these docks all have substantial wave attenuators, so that they actually protect, these wave attenuators at the end of all these docks actually protect the the inner slips from wave action as vessels transit into the marina along over to the Western Basin. Here's a picture from the ground view of the spit. There's our harbor office there. And this is a new gangway leading out to our concrete floating guest dock. There's another picture of the concrete floating guest dock. Again, won't be part of this project. And then this is dock 11, which has already been addressed, has already been replaced. This is the gangway that was installed. And the reason we're showing you dock 11 is we want the docks 12, 13, and 14 design engineering to be at minimum as professionally built as dock 11. We are quite happy with dock 11. It's professionally installed and designed concrete floating dock. And of course, the gangway leading to it is ADA. Here's a look back from dock 11, from the actual dock itself, looking back up at the ADA gangway. And you can see here that there is plenty of pedestrian transiting room on both sides of that gangway. And that'll be the expectation for any new dock designs for 12, 13, and 14 as well. Here's a picture looking out at dock, out toward the terminus of dock 11. As you can see, it was decided for dock 11 that this furthest, the western end or western side of the dock 11 would be left without any fingers, so that we would be able to put larger vessels alongside tie there. For docks 12, 13, and 14, it's gonna be up to the chosen design engineering firm to determine whether or not it's beneficial, based on your analysis, for us to have some additional alongside ties on dock 12, 13, or potentially 14 as well. Here's a picture of the of one of the finger piers on dock 11 with the lighthouse pedestal. Again, we are satisfied with these lighthouse pedestals and the width of the dock altogether, and along with the width of the finger piers as well. This is the terminus of dock 11, which is very much like the current terminus of docks 12, 13, and 14 as well. Only this transition goes from, instead of concrete dock, to the floating wave attenuation at the terminus of the dock, of each of the docks. Obviously, here it's concrete because this is the new dock 11. But on the others, you'll see as I go through the pictures that the other docks have timber, old timber docks going to the new concrete terminuses. This is just another picture of the transition plates going from different sections of the floating docks. This is the transition actually to the wave attenuator that runs parallel with the breakwater. Here's the actual wave, one of the wave attenuators. This is the wave attenuator on dock 11. As you can see, dock 11 has all double finger pier slips. And as you're all aware, you know, the boaters like the double finger piers. You know, obviously it makes it easier for them to get into their slips, out of their slips. And then it also is very convenient for them as well when they are cleaning their vessels, doing maintenance. They can move the boat over to one side, maintain the port side of the boat, then move the vessel over to the other finger pier and maintain the starboard side of the vessel. Can, you know, bow in or stern in relatively easily with both, with a double finger pier slip. So those are obviously preferred by the vast majority of boaters, but on the downside, it does, you know, having double finger piers does limit the flexibility in use of the slips, and does also limit the number of slips that we can have in the given area that we have to work with. So we are not saying that docks 12, 13, and 14 in the new design for those docks that there needs to be double finger piers. We're going to be leaving that to the chosen firm's advice and their consideration of all of the input from the actual boaters, the stakeholders, etc. And a decision will be made based on all of that input. Here you can see again another vessel that's sterned in to the double finger piers. This is going out onto dock 12 now. And again, we may end up, depending on many factors, obviously the COVID-19 challenges have negatively impacted every entity's financial situation. So we may end up just replacing dock 12, but we also may end up going with your proposals for the replacement of docks 12, 13, 14, and may also just go with your proposal for design engineering of 12, 13, and 14, but may elect to replace just dock 12 first for actual construction. Now, obviously, there's an economy of scale, mobilization, dredge activity, dredge episode, being more efficient if we were to do docks 12, 13, and 14 all at the same time. So there would be obvious benefit to that. Here's the gangway, which is representative of pretty much all of the gangways on docks 12, 13, and 14. The photos I'm going to show you of dock 12 are representative of 12, 13, and 14. So we've got these old timber docks that staff have been able to maintain remarkably well, and for their age, they're still quite serviceable. But it is time to replace them, and the district is going to be replacing docks 12, 13, and 14 over the next 5 to 10 years. As you can see, the flotation on multiple finger piers have been compromised. The finger piers are substantially compromised, angled, and arguably becoming unsafe to walk upon, so are in dire need of replacement. Here's another finger pier. You can see how it's angled. This picture doesn't actually reflect the angle as much as it appears when you're actually on site. Again, this picture shows that dock 12 also has currently has double finger pier slips, which again, the boaters like for ease of getting into and out of the slips and for vessel maintenance. But again, we are a public entity, and the more slips that we can provide to the public is of benefit to the public as a whole. Here's the terminus of dock 12. You can see how it transitions from old timber docks and the old, smaller, far less substantial concrete pilings that are existing now. And it transitions into the newer concrete terminus and wave attenuators with the much more substantial guide pilings. And here is the dock 12 floating wave attenuator. And as you can see, there's actually whole, slips that are also incorporated in that wave attenuation. Each terminus of the docks, 12, 13, and 14, have differing number of actual slips. This one actually has obviously 1.5 that are actually of concrete. So it's got the wave attenuator out here, and then it's got one additional entire concrete floating finger pier. They did that in order to make all of them the same length. All of the docks terminate the same distance away from the breakwater. Here's dock 13. And again, the terminus at dock 13, this one actually, the terminus at dock 13 actually has 3 slips that have concrete finger piers. Again, this is, kind of shows, the wasted space, arguably that is inherent to the double-sided finger piers. A narrow beam vessel that is of length still takes up this entire area. You can't put in another vessel, obviously. Whereas if we had single finger pier slips with double wells between each finger pier, meaning only one finger pier on each side, or on a side of a vessel, 2 vessels in a well, then we would be able to potentially put in a narrow beam vessel next to a wider beam vessel with only a couple feet between the 2 vessels. Here's our launch ramp. Launch ramp's not part of the project either, but it's between docks 13 and 14. You can see dock 14 is over here. It runs parallel with the eastern outer breakwater. Another picture of the beginning of dock 14. This is the wasted space gap currently between dock 14 and the breakwater. And again, in your proposal, your design proposal for docks 12, 13, and 14, it may be that a final design might incorporate a little bit more room here on the far east side, to where this space is not just all dead space. If dock 14 in the overall design had a little bit more room over on this far eastern end or eastern side of it, that could potentially be substantial alongside ties for at least smaller vessels, to where there would still be room for them to enter and exit safely, instead of just all wasted space. Again, this is looking out dock 14, and you can see that the timber docks are old, but again, staff have been able to maintain them remarkably well to where they are still safe and serviceable, but definitely in need of replacement. Here's the terminus of dock 14 and the transition that currently exists from the timber dock to the concrete wave attenuation. Again, this the terminus wave attenuators and the end slips on docks 12, 13, and 14 are in excellent condition and will remain in place. Likewise, these pilings are in excellent condition and will remain in place. This is just a shot of the terminus and wave attenuator of dock 14. And here's just a shot looking from the end of dock 14 out at the marina entrance.
John, would you like me to give participants instructions on how to raise their hand or
Yeah,
provide
hold
feedback?
on just one more minute. All right, I'm no longer sharing my screen, right?
Correct.
All right, let's just talk about the scope of this RFP a little bit first. It is design, engineering, public outreach to develop 2 dock layout design alternatives, indicating the best combination of slip links, beams, adequate ADA gangways, and required ADA slips themselves, electronic access gates, power requirements relative to the size of the vessels in the new design, pedestals for utilities, including consideration of incorporated vacuum sanitation pump outs at the slips. Currently, dock 11 does not have any pump outs at the slips, but that would not be, that does not mean that we would not want to consider pump outs at the slips for, or at least every other slip, like a vacuum system for docks 12, 13, and 14. The design will incorporate the existing floating concrete terminus that includes the floating wave attenuators. And we would expect that, that any new docks or our new docks would be floating concrete docks of equal to or better quality than the existing dock 11. We do want concrete floating docks, again, that are equal to or better than dock 11. Whether it's, whether the flotation is fully encapsulated or, the very bottom portion not fully encapsulated, will depend on your evaluation as you put together the design. We also, of course, want the guide pilings and gangway design to take into consideration the projected sea level rise and 100-year catastrophic event, including tsunamis. We also need you to conduct a dredge need analysis to evaluate, compare current water depths at each dock with the intended use after you've put together a design of the vessel length and drafts of the vessels compared to norms, ensuring the adequate depth for use are consistent with marina construction best practices. And again, making recommendations on whether to have the pros and cons of double finger piers versus a single finger pier with a double well. Put 2 boats in each well. Thus being able to increase the number of slips. end up making a recommendation on whether a dredge episode should be conducted during the dock replacement project. I know in my past, it's always ended up being the most efficient way to conduct a major construction project like this, new docks, is to do all the demo of docks 12, 13, and 14, then dredge areas that are needed, then come in and replace all of the docks all at once. So we may be looking at that from a economy of scale outlook. We also expect the winning firm to develop 100% technical specifications for the preferred new floating dock construction materials, method for demo, removal of the old docks, etc., while maintaining a 70% occupancy level, if at all possible, and provide an accurate engineer's estimate for the construction costs, deliverables, and deliverable schedule. We want to have all the documents and permitting necessary to put the project to bid using the district's bid template documents. All permitting necessary, etc. And then after we put the project to bid, the winning firm will attend all bid process meetings, help us identify qualified construction contractors to ensure that they participate, that if they're interested in making a bid on the project, we want to make sure that we reach out to all potential contractors. And of course, the construction support services, construction management will include attending pre-bid conferences, site walks, respond to bid questions, equals modifications, clarifications, review the bids, and supporting the district during the construction phase by attending the pre-construction meeting, responding to RFIs, change orders, quality control throughout construction, ensure contractor adheres to BMPs, permit, environmental protection standards, etc. And ensure the construction contractor is adhering to the plans and specifications as were in the bid docs. And perform at least bi-monthly site inspections and a final inspection with punch list items after the project is near completion. In addition, we'll have to have substantial public outreach during the design process, workshops, charrettes, and attending our public board meetings to ensure that our board fully understands that the technical specifications that we're putting together and understands all of the public outreach efforts that we've undergone. In addition, the winning firm will be responsible for working with the district's consultant, California Consulting, which is the largest grant writing company in the state of California. The district has a relationship with them, and they'll be able to assist you in the project funding opportunity identification. So we want to identify and present for district consideration all available federal and/or state grant funding opportunities. Identify and present for board consideration all available federal and/or state subsidized loan opportunities as well, and lead efforts in the application process for all of them. All right, that's pretty much all I have at present. We appreciate everybody's interest in this project and look forward to any written questions, clarifications, requests for modifications. But at this time, I'm open for any questions that I can answer right now. I'll be happy to do so with the full team listening at present.
So if anyone has any questions, they can raise their hand by clicking on the participants icon at the bottom of the screen next to the participants icon, and then it should give you an option to raise hand. Jay Lorenzo, I've sent you a request to unmute. Mr. Lorenzo, it looks like you're unmuted, but I don't think we're hearing you. Is anyone else hearing him?
I'm not, Lizzie.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yep, there's a separate
Hi there.
profile.
Hi, yeah, sorry about that. I was curious, will there be a separate RFP for special inspection and materials testing services, or will that be a part of the scope for this RFP?
That's part of the scope for this RFP.
Okay. And do you plan on posting a plan holders list or the people that attended this pre-bid?
Yes. We're
Okay,
going to
great.
capture everybody that attended this pre-bid conference via the chat information that all the firms have submitted their contact information, and that list will be put on our website.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No worries. Any other questions right now?
I don't see any more hands raised.
All right. Well, again, we appreciate everybody's interest in our project and look forward to receiving any other questions via email to me. As in the RFP, it says, please respond to me directly, jmorin@smharbor.com, with any questions, clarifications, requests for modifications. And again, any responses will not be made directly to you. They'll be made, your questions, without putting your firm's name. Your questions will be put into the form of an addenda along with the answers, and will be put on our the addenda will be put on our website, but will also be emailed directly to everybody that has provided us their contact information in this meeting. All right, I've got nothing further. Again, we appreciate everybody attending this, and thank you very much. Have a great day. All right, Lizzie, thank you.
You're welcome, John. Thank you. I'll leave the meeting now.
Yeah, you'll, like you did last time, shoot me the list of everybody, or all the contact information for all of the attendees.
Sure will. Yep, I'll download the chat too and send that as a backup.
Perfect. Thank you, Lizzie.
Yep, thanks, John.